And Meghalaya's coal-rich belt of Garo Hills has always been in the news for all the wrong reasons. But Sunday's killing of 8 migrant laborers from Assam in the coal mines of Nagalbibra Jadi has put the law and order situation in Meghalaya and the scanner.
Meghalaya's coal belt under scrutiny. Cases of loot, killing and extortion not new. Failed police action leads to lawlessness. Cases of crime go unreported from Nagalbibra Jadi. Is Meghalaya government willing to take corrective steps? Can people afford to remain silent to unfortunate incidents? Sunday's killing at Nagalbibra Jadi has spilled the beans out. High time government wakes up from its slumber. Meghalaya's coal-rich belt of Garo Hills has always been in news for all the wrong reasons. Sunday's killing of 8 migrant laborers from Assam in the coal mines of Nagalbibra Jadi has put a big question on the deplorable law and order situation in Meghalaya. Nagalbibra Jadi is infamous for extortion, killing and loot. The fact is, it is a coal-rich and the police in nexus with anti-social elements operate to make an additional income for themselves. In such process, many crimes go unreported from this part of Meghalaya. It is no secret that most of the militant organizations based out of Meghalaya function from this very place. The case of human rights violation by mine owners and torture has been very extreme here, but somehow lack of media attention keeps this story out of bay. Locals preferred not to come on record on the very issue as they fear for their lives. But Sunday's brutal killing of 8 innocent laborers from Assam at Nagalbibra Jadi has put to limelight that anti-social activities are rampant in coal-rich belt of Meghalaya. Is the government going to take any corrective steps now? Well, it is unfortunate that 8 people were killed and nobody is to be punished, as the criminals, like in most of the cases which takes place here, will roam scot-free due to lack of evidences and witnesses to the incident. Meghalaya government has been quick to react after the incident and has deployed additional paramilitary forces to South Garo Hills fearing backlash. Bodies of the victims were officially handed over to Assam counterpart on Tuesday at Damra in Gwalpara district in presence of Deputy Commissioner of South Garo Hills and Gwalpara. Meghalaya government has paid rupees 1 lakh as ex gratia to the families. But the question remains, when such violence against innocent will end in coal-rich belt of Meghalaya, where such stories continues to go unreported.
We had to come and hand over bodies of some victims who had died in attack of some miscreants in the Garigitam area of Nagalbibra. Now the details are like this, that at the night of 23rd June at about 11 o'clock, some people had, a mob of about 50 people had attacked these people, laborers working there, and primarily the case seems to be of Dapati, because from one of the quarries about 80,000 rupees. However, the government has decided to provide ex gratia compensation of rupees 3 lakh for each of the deceased persons, which will be helping the families of the bereaved families and the families of the deceased person in the financial distress.
Of the 8 who were killed on Sunday night, 7 are from Gwalpara and 1 from neighbouring Bilashipara in Dhubri district. An emergency meeting was organized by Nagalbibra and Dobu Coal Truck Owners Association, Mothers Union Garo Hills, Garo Students Union, religious bodies, Nokma administration, who have condemned the killing and has sought for adequate security in Nagalbibra Jadi belt.
Amar Dokhin Garo Pahar Jilar Meghalayat Durbittor Kapurkhali Akramonot 8 jon শ্রমিক নিহত হল, তাৰে 6 জন আমাৰ গোৱালপাৰা জিলাৰ আৰু 2 জন ধুবুৰী জিলাৰ। আমাৰ দক্ষিণ গাৰো পাহাৰ জিলাৰ উপায়ুক্ত শ্ৰী ঘটমাই সাহেব এতিয়া আহি আমাৰ যিকেইটা ডেড বডি আছে যিকেইজন 8জন তেওঁলোকক আমাক সোধাই দিলে আমাৰ ধুবুৰী আৰু গোৱালপাৰা জিলা প্ৰশাসনক এতিয়া আমি আহ্বান কৰিম কাৰণ এইটো আমাৰ দুৰ্বৃত্তৰ ঘটনা ঘটিছে তাত ৮০,০০০ টকাৰ লুটপাটো হৈছে এইটো বেলেগ কোনো কালাৰ দিব নালাগে এইটো কোনো সম্প্ৰদায়ক একো হোৱা নাই এইটো এটা মিছক্ৰিয়েন্সৰ এক্টিভিটি আমি আহ্বান কৰিম সকলো সম্প্ৰদায়ক যাতে শান্তি সম্প্ৰীতি বজাই থাকে গাৰো ৰাভা মাইনৰিটি কমিউনিটি ৰাজবংশী যিমান আমাৰ বেলেগ বেলেগ সম্প্ৰদায়ৰ মানুহ আছে তেওঁলোকে শান্তিত থাকিব পাৰিব নিৰাপত্তা আমি যিমানখিনি পাৰোঁ নিৰাপত্তা দিম দুইখন জিলাতে ধুবুৰী গোৱালপাৰা আৰু আমাৰ কাউণ্টাৰ পাৰ্ট যিকেইখন মেঘালয়ৰ ইষ্ট গাৰো হিলছ চাউথ গাৰো হিলছ ৱেষ্ট গাৰো হিলছ আৰু নৰ্থ গাৰো হিলছ জিলা আছে সেইখিনিত সীমামূৰীয়া জিলাখিনিত আমাৰ ছিকিউৰিটি দিবৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ ইতিমধ্যে আমাৰ ফালৰ পৰা আৰক্ষী অধীক্ষকৰ ফালৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকলৈ আমি লিখালিখি কৰিছোঁ আৰু ক্ষতিপূৰণৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত মই ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ আমাৰ দক্ষিণ গাৰো পাহাৰ জিলাৰ উপায়ুক্ত আৰু মেঘালয়া গভৰ্ণমেণ্টক আই থেংক দ্য চাউথ গাৰো হিলছ ডেপুটি কমিশ্যনাৰ এজ দি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ মেঘালয়া ফৰ প্ৰভাইডিং 3 lakhs এজ এক্স গ্ৰেচিয়া আৰু তাৰ উপৰিও আই থেংক এগেইন দ্য এফৰ্টছ অফ ডিষ্ট্ৰিক্ট এডমিনিষ্ট্ৰেশ্যন অফ চাউথ গাৰো হিলছ ফৰ ৰিকুৱেষ্টিং দ্য কোল মাইন ওনাৰ্ছ to give another 1 lakh rupees per family.
Mukul Sangma government is under scrutiny for utter lawlessness in Meghalaya. It is high time that the government wakes up from its slumber and takes corrective steps before the situation turns out to be worse than now. Bureau Report, Frontier TV.
And to give us more on this, we are joined by our content editor Saidul Khan from the newsroom. Well, Saidul, it is unfortunate that 8 people were killed, and this is a clear indication that there is utter lawlessness in Meghalaya. What do you have to say regarding this?
Very, very unfortunate, as you rightly coined it, and as a person from that part of the region in Meghalaya, and I have travelled while discharging my duty as a journalist, have travelled to Nagalbibra, Jadi and the entire coal-rich belt of Meghalaya, the Jayanti Hills as well as Garo Hills. And I have seen that, you know, when you visit those places, there is no security in actual to say, because there are hardly few police outposts there. There are hardly few policemen, you know, on the streets or patrolling there, and there are, you know, police don't, you know, register cases there. So I think in that situation, the miscreants, the militants, definitely has a scope to take, you know, upper hand there, because they have been unleashing terror in that part of the region. It's not a new story, but the question is that here 8 people were killed in one stretch, and I think that's why it got an attention, and the fact is that it got much attention because, you know, there was a molestation incident in Tura last Friday, and there was a repercussion there with mischief monger trying to take advantage of the situation, and I think that could have been probably the reason that media have picked up the story from Nagalbibra, where 8 people were brutally killed. These were dacoits. We cannot ascertain, because the deputy commissioners of South Garo Hills have said that they were dacoits or miscreants, but they may be militants, because we cannot rule it out, because those area is infested by militants. So I think definitely, whatever we call it, whether we call it the mischief mongers or the dacoits, they took advantage because police is not there. I think the lawlessness is one factor which needs to be considered at this moment, because those areas particularly which I am talking about, Nagalbibra and Jadi, where the incident happened, it's rich in coal belt. There are hundreds and thousands of coal mine workers there. They are working day and night, but practically they have no security, and I think that's the advantage which the miscreant took, and, you know, killed 8 laborers there and also looted money from there, which has created a mass hysteria there in Nagalbibra, Jadi, with the people condemning it. Today there was a peace meeting there in Nagalbibra and Dobu, where, you know, religious organizations, the Nokma Association, the public have come out decrying that high-handedness of the miscreant, which led to the killing of 8 innocent lives. Jayanti.
Well, Saidul, there are also allegations that cases of crime go unreported from Nagalbibra, Jadi.
Right. As I was saying, that those areas in Meghalaya's coal-rich area, like, it's a very, very remote, and, you know, media doesn't actually go there to, you know, report stories about it. And as I also said that, you know, police station fails to, you know, register cases there, and many crimes go unreported. There has been killing time and again. Last year also there were 2 deaths being reported during a particular band there. So I think definitely because of the backwardness of the area and because of lack of media attention, I think that place is being taken advantage by the miscreants, the militants or the dacoit, who have time and again unleashed terror in that part of the region. I think Meghalaya government speaks too much about police infrastructure, police boosting up, or, you know, modernization of the police, but here is a case where you're seeing that 8 innocent lives, 8 people have lost their life, but the government had to consider sending additional paramilitary force yesterday only. So I think definitely government failure is there, because government have to protect the life of the people there. And I think understanding the magnitude of the problem, because a lot of migrant people come there to work, and the activity of the militants and other organization and the dacoits are very, very active there. Because in fact, once I was traveling with a minister there, I don't want to name, from that area, the minister was saying that this is an area where dacoity takes place. I was just traveling 2 months ago. So I think definitely the road communication has improved in that part of the area now, with hundreds and thousands of trucks daily moving through that road. And I think dacoits are that's why taking advantage. But I think government has to really stepped up its vigil in that part of the area, and also take corrective steps, that this is a case where you have seen that people's life are being lost. And I think it's high time they put proper police there, the proper outpost there, and this should be one case which should make the government realize that we cannot sleep anymore. We have to do something, because people are watching it. And I think people or the civil bodies in Meghalaya also have to raise this issue, because after the incident, I think there has been no condemnation which has come in from civil body organization. Of course, in Nagalbibra and Dobu, people are saying that they have condemned the incident. They are now seeking for the justice of the family. And what we have raised in our story is that people go scot-free. Now who will identify? There is no eyewitness account. There is nobody to identify who had actually done the dacoity, or the militants, or whoever it is. Now who will arrest them? So they remain scot-free. I think the moot question remains that it's a failure of Mukul Sangma's government, who speaks volume about development, modernization of the police, but here is a case of neglect.